Hello children, today we are going to start a new chapter, Matter in Our Surroundings. So, how do we understand what is matter? For that, let us look at some of these random objects. So, we are seeing sand, a yellowish gas, some plants, some animals, iron sheets, stones and soil. And now, let us look at this. So in this picture, we can see the flowing water, the plants, soil, and the atmosphere surrounding all of this. And you know what? All of this is made up of matter. So it is so important to understand more about this matter in our surroundings. So this is our first lecture. What is matter then? By definition, all things which occupy space and have mass are matter. So, they all have some volume which they occupy in the space. Now, let us have a look at this picture. In this room, there are not many objects. One table and one flower pot is there. And we can say that the room is almost empty. Now, so many things have been arranged in this room. So this is a furnished room, and now all these things, this cupboard, this pot over here, wall clock, sorry, and these paintings, all of them are occupying some space and they definitely have some mass. So we can say that there are so many materialistic things which are made up of matter are present in this room. But it is interesting to note that even in this apparently empty room, the air is present. The air is occupying the entire space of this room, and air definitely has some mass, which we feel like the air pressure. So now we understand that everything which has certain volume and has mass is matter. So let us learn some more attributes or characteristics of matter one by one. So for example, matter is made up of particles. How do we prove it? How do we understand it? Whenever we dissolve any substance in a solvent, we will find that the solute or the substance which is being dissolved disintegrates into smaller particles, and after some time those particles disappear completely. How does this happen? Because matter is made up of small particles, so there are distinct individual units, and since they are individual units, not a continuous entity, there is some space between those units, and the things which are being dissolved or mixed into each other occupy that space between the particles. So had the matter been a continuous thing, this dissolution or disappearance of the sugar molecules would not have been observed. So matter is definitely made up of particles, which can be proved through various dissolution activities like making tea, mixing coffee in milk, and mixing sugar in water, etc. Next important attribute of matter, that the particles of matter are very small. So this is how the potassium permanganate crystals look like. And even if you choose the smallest possible crystal and dissolve it in a known quantity of water, if you go on about making its serial dilutions are that you mix a known quantity of substance in some volume, and then that volume is being diluted further, and as many times as you would like. So this is serial dilution, and when we do serial dilution experiment with the potassium permanganate crystal, even after many dilutions we are able to observe a faint pink color. What does it tell us? Remember, As soon as we had put down the sugar cube in the water, it had disintegrated into smaller particles. Similarly, it shows that even one crystal of potassium permanganate is made up of a huge number of smaller molecules or atoms which actually constitute this particular compound. So, the particles of matter are very, very small, so small that more than 1,000 are present even in a tiny crystal. So, this point must be remembered. Another important attribute of matter is that its particles are continuously moving, children. And a very classic and nice example is as soon as you drop a dye or ink in apparently still looking water, you are not touching the flask, you are not shaking the table on which it is kept. Even though we are not disturbing the water, what do we observe after some time? We observe that the color has uniformly distributed itself in the water. How did it happen? Unless all these particles of both the color as well as of water were continuously moving, they wouldn't mix with each other. We did not shake it up, we did not stir it. So it proves that particles of matter are continuously moving. But why? So the bottom line is that particles of matter possess kinetic energy. Very important point, children. Particles of matter possess kinetic energy through which they show movement. Now, particles of intermix on their own with each other. So it is a likely conclusion of the previous attribute. If the particles of matter are moving continuously, then they will find and occupy the space of other matter, and that's how they will intermix. They will mix with each other. For example, here you can see if two gases are separated in different compartments and the stopcock is closed. So this gas is not present in this compartment and this gas is not present in this compartment. So here its concentration is high, here hydrogen's concentration is high. Now we have opened the stopcock. After some time, what do we observe? That hydrogen gas or the gas from the left chamber has migrated into the right chamber and the gas present in the right chamber has migrated into the left chamber. So much so that their relative concentrations are almost equal in both the chambers. So this is also the phenomena of diffusion. In diffusion, you have learned or you will learn that substances move from their high concentration towards the low concentration. And that's exactly what is happening here. Why? How diffusion takes place? Because of this intermixing property of the particles of matter. They will move towards their low concentration area. For example, the white dots are going to move towards the place where they are not present, so their concentration is less over there, and the red particles will move towards the place where their relative concentration is less. So this simple experiment can be used to prove that particles of matter intermix on their own with each other, and that's how diffusion takes place. Now, another very important attribute, children. Particles of matter attract each other. So, whatever might be the building block of any matter, whether it is a molecule, whether it is an atom, we will see that they all have some force of attraction acting between them, which holds the particles together. So, this force of attraction acting between them keeps the particles of matter in place, and they are always exerting this force of attraction on each other, on every particle which is adjacent to them in the 3D space. With this, we will finish today's lecture. But two key points must be remembered, that there is a force of attraction between the particles of matter, and this force of attraction can be compared with the discipline that is present or that is seen in various households. And the kinetic energy of individual particles can be compared with the amount of pocket money that a child has. And remember, the kinetic energy of individual particles and the force between individual particles are two main criteria which we will discuss in our next lecture, when we are going to study the three states of matter. Solid, liquid, and gaseous states of matter are defined and show particular characteristics only because of these two attributes: the force acting between the molecules and the individual kinetic energy of the molecule, the ability to move around freely. So, this is all for today. We will meet in the next lecture with the states of matter. Please revise all these things and come prepared in the next class. Thank you.